for a few minutes and talk about the Clarissa Shields and Papoose interview on the Breakfast Club yesterday. And I want to give a little bit of psychology behind it as far as learning how to read the room and utilizing emotional intelligence. So, according to Clarissa, her and Pep have been together. They'll be together 2 years in September. So, they've been together a year and a half. Um, for people who don't know who Papoose and Remy Martin and Clarissa Shields are, for my followers who don't know who they are, Remy Martin and Papoose are both celebrity rappers from New York City. They were married for years. A lot of the time that during the time that they were married, Remy actually went to jail for some time during their marriage. And Pat, he did what a husband was supposed to do. Allegedly he held everything down. He stood by her side, went to go see her, all of that good stuff. And their relationship had actually at one point became like the poster board, for lack of better words, for like black love, because there was allegedly at that time no cheating. Pep held it down while Rem was in jail, blah 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 blah. Some kind of way things went left. They are now separated, keyword separated, and I'll get to that later, but they are separated, and they are both now in different dynamics, if that's what you want to call it. And I'm saying the word dynamic for a reason. So Papoose is now with Clarissa Shields, who is she is a professional boxer. And I watched that video twice just to make sure that I wasn't missing anything. And there were so many red flags on so many different levels for that in that interview. So for one, when Envy asked Pep a question about him and Remy's relationship, and he was basically more so saying he didn't ask that to be disrespectful. He was, or saying that he was asking that for them to get back together. He was just saying he finds it very sad that they can't be friends. They are that him and Remy are that Pep and Remy are in the space that they're in because he has a relationship with both of them, and it's hard to devour that they can't even be friends. Not even 60 seconds after Envy put that question out there, Clarissa comes on there and starts giving her 2 cents. Number one, Clarissa, the question wasn't directed towards you. Pat was up there to promote his album. That's number one. Number two, when it comes to those things, remain quiet. The left hand don't always got to know what the right hand is doing. I mean, she's entitled to her opinion, but the question wasn't directed towards you. And regardless of what your feelings are towards that dynamic, that you weren't in that marriage. So you don't know what transpired outside of what Remy says, Pap says, and what really is the truth. So that's number one. Number two, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong. Every time I listen to Papoose talk about Clarissa, I never hear him refer to her as my lady or my girl or my partner. He always says best friend. And yeah, that's cute. That's great. That's great that she's your best friend. But again, like I was saying about reading the room, if if she would utilize her emotional intelligence in a better way, she would be, and she wasn't so emotional and so quick to respond. I feel like she would be able to read the room better, but she's operating out of emotion. It's great that you are your quote unquote man's best friend, but he's never referred to her as anything else but that keyword friend. And for me, that's a red flag. I feel like Pat knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's saying because he's not into her like that. He's not into her like that at all. And he's using the word friend. He doesn't refer to her as anything else but friend because when he is ready to use his exit strategy, that's basically how he's going to finesse the situation. Oh, well, you're my friend. I never said we was together. We're friends. He's putting the word best in front of it to try to finesse it. But I found it interesting that when he called her his best friend, Clarissa immediately responded with, "Oh, and yeah, because we've been together 2 years." It's like, no, sis, you got to start reading the room. And I'm saying all this to say, for us as women, and even me, I'm looking at this whole dynamic play out, and I'm looking past like just the baseline gossip and stuff that people be on these gossip blogs talking about. Like, I'm literally looking at the bigger picture with this. Like, there's so many red flags. And even though I'm a therapist, as a woman, I'm divorced from a narcissist. So it's certain things that I pay attention to, is specifically with someone's words, and then I definitely pay attention to actions, because your words don't mean anything. I pay attention to how you act and what you do, your behavior. And it was just when I look at Clarissa, she gives me very insecure. She gives me very, like, she wants to be solidified and validated so much that this is what she's settling for. And a lot of people are like, well, give her grace. This is her first relationship, blah, 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 blah. And that's true. That could be true. That could be her first relationship, even though she says it's not. And she says she was engaged before. But the bottom line is, us as women, we can, as far as our mental and emotional health and wellness, we can avoid so many things when we are dealing with people, and when we are dealing with, someone on a romantic side of things. We can avoid so much toxicity, chaos, and drama if we just learn how to read the room. Read the room. My father always told me as a child growing up, if you let a person talk long enough, they'll tell on themselves. Clarissa at this point is so hell-bent on trying to prove a point that is literally making her look really crazy. Hi. It's just making her look crazy. And I read a lot of comments, and it's like, people are saying, "Oh, y'all tearing that girl down. Y'all tearing that girl down." No, no, no. The way that they're saying it, it may come across as if people are tearing Clarissa down. But Clarissa, you out here looking crazy. And I'm learning so much by watching her on this journey with Pat. Like, yo, that is like so what I not aspire to be. That is not relationship goals. Even down to like, even just her claiming to be in a relationship with him, and this man is still married. And people came under my comments like, "Oh, well, Remy has moved on too, and they both still, and they're both married." And that makes it worse. That's my whole point. There's no value and no respect for marriage. There's no value and respect for relationships. There's no way I'm still gonna be on paper, somebody's wife, and I'm gonna be out here publicly dating another man. And I would hope that I would be attached to somebody that would have the same type of dignity and character. But like, I'm saying all this to say that when it comes to relationships, ladies, we have to start learning how to read the room. And I know that that's not always an easy thing to do, especially when it's someone we want. But a lot of times these men be telling us exactly who they are. And we just refuse to listen. Or we don't refuse to listen. We don't want to listen because at that time, that's who we want. So we'll stick around, or we'll make excuses, and we'll do all of these things similar to what Clarissa is doing. And I just want to, put out there, like, for anyone that is in this type of dynamic, this is what you appear to be. Like, may that type of situation in love never find me. Because at the end of the day, that is still his wife, that is still her husband. And for people who say, oh, well, it's just a piece of paper, it doesn't mean nothing, you've clearly never been married, because it doesn't work that way. Being legally attached to somebody means a lot, not just emotionally and mentally, financially. It's bigger than, what the world tries to make it seem. Oh, well, you could get married, you could just get divorced. Yeah, and it's not that easy. I know people right now going through are in 3-year divorce litigations. So I probably went off on a tangent because I'm just thinking about this whole dynamic. But ladies, please read the room. When it comes to men in these relationships, please read the room. I feel like so bad for Clarissa, because I feel like, I really feel like she's going to get her heart broken. I feel like she's a place filler. I believe that Pat, with his verbiage, he's being very clear and concise about who she is and where she stands. And when it's all said and done, when he's in a better position, or when he just feels like he doesn't want to deal with her anymore, that's what he's going to run with. You're my best friend. He's telling you, he's being very honest. He's saying exactly who she is to him. Even certain video clips that they had, like of her trying to like kiss him and be affectionate, it was so cringe. And I really feel bad for her. So today's mental health message is read the room. Read the room. Stop making excuses and stop creating your own narrative. Read the room and take things at face value. When it comes to dating and relationships, we can avoid a lot of heartbreak if we just read the room. Take your time and read the room. I'm loving on all of y'all. Everybody, if you celebrate, have a great holiday. If you don't, as I always say, I'm loving on y'all. Be safe. Till next time, peace.